Hi again, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Around the Town with Chuck. My name is Chuck Guglielmo, a weekly interview show where we talk with interesting people around the community. And today we are having our Cleveland Indians special, as the Cleveland Indians start their season today, as we are taping the show on March 29th. So the time you see the show, they will already have played 5 games. We have Bill Kehoe here, who is a big Tribe fan, goes to spring training multiple years. And Mike Greco, of course, another big Tribe fan, editor of the Star Beacon. Welcome.
Thank you.
Bill, let's start with you. Going to spring training game, tell us how that came about and what's the most exciting thing you like about it?
It came about, I believe, in 2003. Me and a friend of mine, Steve Grant, decided that's what we always wanted to do, and took my sister Kathy, who was a big Indians fan, and that's where it all started. It was just the excitement of being at the park or near the Tribe, and it, and since then it's blossomed to myself and my 2 adult boys, Kevin and Dan, and then my brother Tom and his 2 adult boys, Matt and Chris. So that's where it's at today.
So you've gone to Winter Haven when they were down in Florida, and now Goodyear in Arizona. Do you prefer one over the other?
I definitely prefer Goodyear, mainly because of the proximity of the stadiums. And in Arizona, they share parks, like the Indians share parks with the Reds. There's a couple that don't, but for the most part, the clubs are within 30, 40 minutes tops. Easy access. And for the first time, I can say I've been to every park in Arizona now.
Wow.
So I went to
So there's
Scottsdale.
about, what, 13 or 14 of them?
I don't think there's that many. I think there's, I want to say 9.
9.
Yeah, I went to the Giants Park this year in Scottsdale.
Oh, that's right, because you said some of these teams are sharing parks.
Yeah, and that's Scottsdale made it complete. I've been to every one in Arizona. So.
And they're all basically around the Phoenix area?
Oh yeah, right around Phoenix area.
Any of them down as far low as Tucson?
No, nothing down that far, thank goodness. But, yeah.
Mike, have you ever been to a spring training?
I have. I've been to Winter Haven once, and then I've been out to Scottsdale and Surprise, Arizona, for games back in the day. I have not seen the Indians in Arizona, into the new park, but I've seen games out in Arizona before.
Well, we're going to, like I say, we're going to talk about the Cleveland Indians 2018 season, but we have to start with, unfortunately, we got to go back to the quick exit in the playoffs last year after being up 2-0. What was your feeling at that time, Mike, when they lost 3 straight, I guess?
A major disappointment. I mean, I think we all, at the show last September, had them winning the World Series. Maybe that was a
kiss of death,
our fault. But I think it was a very disappointing, almost worse than 2016, just because.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Just because they were up 2-0, they had their ace on the mound in Kluber, and won 102 games, 22-game win streak, we all know that kind of stuff. And then they just were outpitched the last few games. I went to Game 5, and CC was on the mound. Nothing against CC, but he's not the CC of old. And Indians they were flailing away at the ball like they were the ones who were the underdogs.
Yeah.
And Kluber, he wasn't right. There's back issues I heard, but it's very, very disappointing.
Bill, what about you? Do you think it was the pitching, or do you think some of the major guys just didn't hit?
Well, that combination, Kluber obviously didn't have it. And if I recall, we all sat down and made our own rosters.
Yeah.
And now we're all saying, well, if he'd done this, if he'd done that. But, yeah. But, it just didn't happen. Like you say, nobody could hit. They surprised us. We're counting on Kluber too much, and little did we know he was hurt. So, yeah, it was very disappointing.
There were a couple bright spots in there. I think Carlos Carrasco pitched a brilliant game, and Trevor Bauer did as well to get the Indians off to that start. But, well, let's not dwell on that. Let's look ahead to 2018. Are you guys in the mindset that the Indians need to win a championship in 2018 or else it'll be another 3 to 5 years, Bill?
Boy, you know, based on the people that they're losing after this year, you almost have to have that mindset. They've got the nucleus there for the team, but how do you replace a Miller, a Cody Allen, Zach McAllister? You know, doesn't get much credit, but you know, we'll see what he does this year. But yeah, I think this is the year, and it scares me. We really didn't make the moves I thought we would make. This year is kind of like cross your fingers. You know, if we get a full, healthy year and a productive year out of Chisenhall, if Brantley's healthy, if Zimmer, what scares me about Zimmer is he's like a Grady Sizemore in terms of he's all out. I mean, he's going all out for that ball. He's going all out. We saw him go from second to home in Arizona, and I didn't think he was going to get up after he slid. He's that type of ball player.
And that's what you want, though.
Yeah.
You do if he can stay healthy.
Yeah, right.
I mean, you cringe every time he does something.
Right. Bill, you mentioned your buddy. I remember you telling me last year that you like him a lot, Zach McAllister. Is he going to be in the Brian Shaw role?
That's what the paper says.
Are you
He's gonna
okay
eat
with
up
that?
innings. Well, I guess we'll see.
I know you're a fan of his.
A lot of people were Brian Shaw and Cody Allen doubters. You know, they just get, oh my God, they go nuts when these two came in there. What are we going to do now?
Right.
But they always came through. Statistically, on paper, they were one of the best combinations in baseball.
Yeah.
It's gonna be tough filling those innings.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if McAllister can do it, but
Mike, what do you think about that? Yeah, I think I agree with Bill. It's a make or break year because obviously we're not going to have important pieces next year with this team, and based on what's happened the last 2 years, the payroll is like 130 million, which from what I hear it's extended. So we're not gonna see some players next year. So yeah, this is a big year for them. Fans are excited. Even though, like Bill said, they have some core players, they'll be missing some key pieces next year. I would say Otero is more of a Shaw person rather than McAllister. McAllister seems like he's more of a long man. Otero seems like he can come in for different spurts, shorter spurts. Maybe like Shaw appeared in a lot of games, so that may be Otero's role.
Mike, when Brian Shaw signed with Colorado, I believe it was, were you surprised that Joe Smith would also leave, or did you think they'd make more of an attempt to keep him?
I thought initially they would make more of an attempt to keep him, local guy, a favorite. But I guess it comes down to numbers with what they did in the off season, with their minor moves. They just weren't going to pay him what he got. So in the end, yes, I wish they would have signed him, but they didn't. So you have to go with who they have.
Bill, we'll stay with the bullpen for a while since we're on that right now. Last year, two guys emerged very well out of that bullpen, Tyler Olson and Nick Goody. Now, I understand Nick Goody did not have a very good spring, but again, that's spring training. Are both those pitchers, in your mind, capable of repeating their performances, or are the leagues going to adjust to those two pitchers, do you think?
oh boy. I mean, I was impressed with Tyler Olson. Geez, he hardly gave up any runs throughout the year.
He gave up any, did he?
No, it was
in the regular season,
Yeah,
I don't think he gave up any.
And to expect him to duplicate that is
Asking a little bit too much.
a little bit too much. But I mean, as a whole, as a core, I would hope they'd come close to that. I'm really more excited about the starters this year, and I hope that the bullpen is used less. Based on what I saw in Goodyear, it was amazing that they're going 5 innings, but everybody looks strong, and we got to see Trevor Bauer pregame workout. It was just amazing what he goes through just to get ready for a game. you know, not just the thing he throws at the game and all that stuff.
Sure.
He works out an hour prior to even getting to the field.
Yeah.
So I was pretty impressed with that.
Mm-hmm.
I think he has high expectations this year.
Mike, Matt Belisle, the Indians decided they were going to keep him. He closed some games out last year for the Minnesota Twins. Like we were talking with Miller and Allen maybe leaving after the 2018 season, is he a pitcher, do you think, Matt Belisle, that could possibly go into the closing role in 2019? Is that one of the reasons you think maybe they kept him?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, he adds some depth, adds some experience, and if he performs well, he'll come cheaper than Allen will. So, yeah, I think it's a combination of his experience and his closer role experience as well. So, if he has anything left in the tank, he's certainly a candidate for next year as well.
Bullpen better or worse this year?
I think it's better. We're going to miss Shaw. I mean, we all know Shaw was inconsistent, but
As much as we all shook when he come in, now we're saying we're all going to miss him too.
but like Bill said, he performed, he got the job done. But I think the parts are there to overcome that with, like you say, with McAllister, Otero, Goody, Olson, Belisle. I think we'll be all right in that area.
I think if anybody could figure it out, it would be Terry Francona. He works wonders with the bullpen.
Yes.
Do you agree with that?
Yeah, he always seems to plug
Yeah.
the right person in, and you still got Ryan Merritt. He's got
Yeah.
he could end up he will end up in the bullpen,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
At least to start, we think he'll
Right.
end up in the bullpen. Could be an emergency starter at times, maybe. Bill, Corey Kluber, Carlos Carrasco, and Trevor Bauer are the top three pitchers. There's no denying that. We can't argue with that for the Cleveland Indians. Do the three of those pitchers have to win north of 50 games this year, combined?
I think three starters have to, and not necessarily those three. I mean, Clevenger looked pretty darn good. And you're leaving Tomlin out of there. I think it'd be nice to have three starters with 50 plus wins.
How about you, Mike? Those three pitchers.
Yes, I would agree. I'm going to go lower and say if they each can get 15, and then like Bill said, count on Clevenger, Tomlin, whomever else to pick up the rest of the wins. I think we'll be okay.
So you think if the three can get 45 wins, that the Indians can still win 90 games or more?
I do, because Clevenger, given a full season, he could win 10 or so. Tomlin's always proven he can win 8 to 10 a year, and then you'll get some bullpen guys to win some games. So I think between the whole staff, they can get 90. I don't see 102 wins this year in the making, but if they can get 90 to 95, I think they'll be in good shape.
I was kind of thinking maybe 70 wins from the pitchers, 50 from the big three, and then 20 from Clevenger and Tomlin combined.
Well, that'd be nice.
Yes, absolutely.
Were you surprised that Josh Tomlin is still in the starting rotation, Bill, or
No.
Are you
I
happy
like
about
Tomlin.
it?
I do. He kind of changes the pace up a little bit, and I've seen him pitch in pressure games, and he's able to spot that ball wherever he wants it. I mean, he doesn't have the exciting velocity everybody talks about, 95, but guys are standing there with their bat, strike three. So he's doing something right.
How about you, Mike? With Josh Tomlin, he seems to do well going through the lineup once, maybe twice.
Yeah.
Do you take a chance when it's the third time coming up?
It depends. I mean, if he gives you 5-6 innings and then you get into that bullpen, I think that's what you can expect from him, 5 to 6 innings. It's hard to believe he's the longest tenured Indian.
Yeah, it is.
At 8 years. But he's solid. Like Bill said, he's not flashy in any way, but he can get the ball over and gets guys to fly out and ground out. So we'll take that.
Thoughts on the newcomer, Yonder Alonso, playing first base
Well,
versus Carlos Santana?
well, I think we, both we're sad to see Carlos leave last year, but this year, but with at 3 years, $60 million, obviously the Indians were not going to pay that amount. From all indications, and Bill can probably attest to this more, it seems like he'll fit in nicely. He has some pop in the order, and I think he'll do well.
Bill, you got a chance to see Yonder down there. How did he look to you?
Well, I tell you what, we were sitting in the right field pavilion and could hear the ball go off the roof of the pavilion, and that was quite impressive. And Brantley did the same thing. So I was actually surprised when he went on DL, because from batting practice all the way, he looked healthy to us. So, but yeah, Yonder. I don't know if you watched the Tribe Fest on TV. He obviously has a personality. He was dressed up, dressed up like a woman, talking to his fellow players. They didn't know who he was. So he has a personality. I think he'll fit in. I think he'll fit in good with his team.
A healthy Jason Kipnis at second base, Bill. How's that sound to you?
It sounds great to me.
He can play 130 to 140 games.
And I pull for that guy. He really is a class act.
He is.
He is. I saw him giving bats to young kids, and if you really want to pull for one person, he'd be it. I hope he's healthy, because I think it's going to be it'll be a good year for him.
Mm-hmm. Mike, what do you think? If we get 130 to 140 games from him, that's good.
Yes, that's good. And when he's healthy and playing well, he's one of the best in the game. And his leadership. He's been with the team for a few years now. Kind of. One of the faces of the franchise. So if he's healthy and can perform, that's just a bonus. It's a plus.
He's one of those guys that Bill was talking about with Bradley Zimmer. He'll get down and get dirty for you.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Jose Ramirez. Let's talk a little bit about him now. With Brantley starting the year on the disabled list, and Giovanna Urshela also on the disabled list, the plan is to have Jose Ramirez at third base. Are you okay with that to start the year, or do you rather have him go out in left field to replace Brantley? Mike, I'll ask you first.
I think he's okay at third for the time being. I'd like to see him bring Diaz up at some point and see what he can do. He obviously has a lot of potential and did well in his stint last year with the team. But for the time being, I like Ramirez where he is, and it depends on Brantley. If Brantley can come back relatively quick, then it shouldn't be an issue. But if Brantley's injury lingers, for weeks and then months, then maybe switch Ramirez to left and bring Diaz to third.
Bill, what were you hearing down there about Brantley's injury? I'm hearing maybe mid to late April.
I wasn't hearing anything. I was excited because he was playing. Like I say, we'd go to watch batting practice on the other field, and he looked fine. I was kind of surprised when I did hear that.
Do you think, Bill, that the outfield for the Cleveland Indians is probably their weakest link?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, because you're hoping that you get a full productive year out of Chisenhall, because we really don't know what we have there yet.
Right.
Last year, he had a great first half, and that was it. Like I said, Zimmer, I hope he stays healthy.
He looks like a 5'2" player in the making.
Yeah,
he really does.
And Brantley, boy, if he's healthy, it'll be a big year for all of us.
That changes our look on the outfield if
Absolutely.
Brantley and Zimmer stay healthy, right?
Absolutely. Yep.
Exactly. And with Chisenhall, I don't know about the patience there, Mike. He can be as good as anybody in the league when he goes on those hot streaks for 2-3 weeks, and then just about as bad as you can look when he goes in a funk.
That's the thing with him is consistency, and he has to prove it this year. I think time's running out on him in Cleveland. Especially you got Greg Allen in the minors. Even though Rajay's back with the team, of course, Geyer is serviceable out there. So this is a big year for Lonnie. He needs to stay healthy and be consistent.
You mentioned Rajay Davis and Brandon Geyer, a couple of right-hand. Are they both right-handed hitters? Yeah,
Yes,
a couple of
yeah.
right-handed hitters, because the rest of the outfielders are left-handers.
Yeah.
So they probably will see a lot of action for the Indians,
Yeah.
those two outfielders. And then, of course, the catching duel between Gomes and Perez. I say you start Gomes, but I'm okay with Perez starting as well.
I like Roberto. I think he should start. I think he proved himself last year, where he caught Bauer, and then with the bat, he proved himself that he could hit the ball and take charge of the pitching staff. Gomes he's a good second option or an option 1A if Perez goes south. But I'm going with Roberto to start the season.
Bill, both catchers can gun out runners.
Oh yeah, man, I like Mike's viewpoint on that. I'm a Perez, and if Gomes doesn't hit early, I wouldn't be surprised if he's gone.
And bring up Mejia.
Mejia,
Mejia.
bring up him, or you got another guy there too. They talk about
Oh yes, that
25-year-old from Akron.
yeah, he did really well in the
Yeah,
spring.
yeah.
Can't think of his
can't
name
either.
right now.
Well, you've got some
Haas
depth.
or-
You've got some
like that,
depth at
Haas or-
the
Yeah.
catching position, and Jan did kind of struggle last year.
Okay.
Much as we want to pull for him.
Let me throw some things at you. I'll start with Bill. Each can comment on these. Yonder Alonso will have better power numbers than Edwin Encarnacion. Bill.
I don't think so.
Mike?
I would say no.
Okay. Mike, Kluber, Carrasco, we already talked about this. Okay. Tyler Olson can repeat performance of 2007. What's the likelihood?
Probably not good since he was so dominant. But if he can, come up do half of what he did last year, I think the Indians will be satisfied.
Bill, what do you think on that one?
I have to agree. I think I've even read where he was surprised how well he did last year. So hopefully he repeats, but
Right.
they may have figured him out.
Danny Salazar, when he comes back from the disabled list, starter or reliever?
If one of the starters is struggling, boy, he's a tough cookie, that guy.
With his fastball, does he look like a
You
good
might-
seventh, eighth inning pitcher?
I wouldn't
Throw
mind
some
seeing
of Brian Shaw's innings?
I wouldn't mind putting him back there.
Mike, what do you think?
I would say bullpen. But once again, if he comes back, that's the big key.
We talked about the young catcher Mejia. Can we expect, do you think he can be on the Indians roster in 2018 from day 2 all the way to the end, anytime during the season?
Mejia?
Yeah.
I think so. I think they'll give him a shot for, a few games, which in baseball, a few games could be 10 or could be 30 or could be whatever. But I think he's earned a right to come up to see what he has. And then, if he doesn't cut it, send him back down. And if he does cut it, well, we may have our future catcher now.
Bill, what do you think? I hear they even tried to work him out at third base.
Yeah, which didn't work.
It didn't work, okay.
They're working him in the outfield now.
That's what I heard too.
Kind of like when they tried to work Santana out at third.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same situation.
Yeah, in Chisenhall, it didn't work. Boy, that's a lot of pressure on a young kid.
But he's so good that I can see him being on that roster anytime during the season. I don't think it's going to be late in the year.
Yeah.
I mean, based on the way the Indians operate, I don't know if that would be an option so early in the year.
But one injury to one of those two catchers?
As a temporary fix, not as a permanent,
Yeah.
maybe next year, a permanent role, but if it was going to be a long term, I don't know if I'd go that route.
Giovanna Urshela, Bill, will he be on the roster when he comes off the disabled list?
I don't see a spot for him.
Mike?
I agree. I don't see a spot for him either.
I love his glove.
So they'll stay with Eric Gonzalez, you think?
I think they were leaning
Yeah.
that direction anyway.
Yeah.
The Indians' biggest loss this year in terms of what they lost from the roster from last year. What do you think it is?
Well, it's going to have to be Shaw.
Brian Shaw?
Yeah.
Yeah, believe it or not, Shaw.
You know who I think? I think Mickey Callaway.
Yes,
Oh,
absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
I think just an outstanding
Yeah,
pitching coach.
I was limited
I'm
myself.
curious to see how the pitchers react under Carl Willis, who's a good pitching coach
Yeah,
too,
yeah.
but Mickey Callaway
Yeah,
was just
he did
amazing.
wonders with them.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
He could turn that Met team around.
Yeah, he could. With that pitching staff.
I mean, look what he's done over the years.
Yeah.
With Ubaldo years ago.
Yeah.
Trying to Casimir had a
Scott
great year
Kastner,
left.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a magician.
And I was hoping he'd stick around to try to work on Danny Salazar here a little bit too.
Yeah.
Francisco Lindor, we haven't talked about him yet. Of course, he's the face of the Indians right now, at least offensively. Do you like him batting first, or do you like him batting second or third?
Well, it doesn't matter what I care. I think he likes batting first, and
You think so?
yeah, he'll bat first tonight.
Mike?
Yeah, I think first they really don't have a true leadoff hitter, so he's probably your best option. He can get on base. He's quick. He can steal a base. He can get a double, get a triple, get things going. So I think he's their best option right
Lineup already out for tonight?
now.
Is it Lindor, Kipnis, Ramirez,
Yeah.
Alonso, Encarnacion, or is it Encarnacion,
No.
Alonso?
It's Alonso Encarnacion.
I was wondering if they would do that.
I think that's a
Because
good-
Encarnacion's a little slow hitter in
That's a
April,
good
May.
move.
Remember, we
Yeah.
were all concerned, why isn't he hitting, why isn't he hitting?
Oh yeah, he
Last
struggled.
April, May, and even into June, I think.
Yeah.
So where do you see the Indians finishing this year, Mike? Everybody says they're gonna win the division, including me. But what do you see after that?
I tell you, I think they'll win the first round, and then I think they'll lose in the championship series. And I don't know who to. The Yankees, Houston, Boston, they'll all be up there. Probably one of those teams. It just, even though they're good, I just not sure that they have enough this year to do it.
Bill?
I think they're going to win their division. I think Minnesota's going to be on their tail, and
So you think they'll win it in a close race?
fairly close.
How close? Too close for comfort? Are we
Let's
going
say
down to the
5
final
games.
week?
Let's say 5 games.
Oh, so we're basically going down to
Yeah.
late September then.
After that, I mean, if everyone's healthy and they have strong pitching, they could do it. But I'm hoping that somewhere along the line they add one more bat.
Well, the good news is that the Houston Astros, who won the World Series, of course, last year, there's not been a repeat World Series performer in 17 years, so that's good. But the Yankees scare me. I mean, who's going to stop them from scoring 6-7 runs a game?
Oh, I know.
Yeah. The question with them is their pitching. Do they have enough pitching?
Yeah, but are they going to need great pitching? I mean, with all those runs they're going to
Yes,
score.
Judge and Stanton, they can hit the
Oh,
ball,
my goodness.
a million miles, but they also strike out a lot too. Unless Judge cuts down on his strikeouts, he's not going to be able to help Stanton out much. And then their pitching is questionable. CC and Severino and Tanaka, and they don't have the true one that the Indians do. So to me, that's their bigger issue than the hitting.
Bill, did your heart sink like mine did when the Yankees got Stanton?
Oh, yeah. It really did.
Yeah.
Now they're talking about leading off Judge. Did I read that right?
Yeah, they're talking about it, but I don't know if Aaron Boone will do that or not.
And then they got the money to do anything.
Yeah.
You give them our pitching staff, and they're unstoppable.
I mean, the top two guys are Judge and Stanton.
Yeah.
Could easily hit 100 home runs, just the
Yeah,
two of them,
Absolutely.
especially in Yankee Stadium.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Scary.
So you got the Yankees winning the East.
Yes.
Take it.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Indians winning the Central.
Mm-hmm.
Houston in the West.
Yes.
National League, Dodgers in the West, or about the up-and-coming Giants.
With their injuries, Baumgartner and Samardzija, I just don't know if they're going to be able to, they might get out to a slow start, and I don't know if they'll be able to recover. I would say the Dodgers.
Bill,
Yeah, the Dodgers are always consistent.
Cubs coming back in the Central? The Brewers are going to be really good.
Yeah, the Brewers seem to improve every year.
Cardinals, of course, you can never rule them out of anything.
All right.
Who do you like there? Cubs?
I still like the Cubs with getting Darvish. Just adds to that pitching staff.
Nationals again in the East?
I don't think they lost anything.
Yeah,
The top two pitchers over there, don't they? In Strasburg and Scherzer?
If the Mets can get their DeGrom
Pitching together.
and Syndergaard and Harvey, and if Mickey can get those guys going, they could pose a challenge to the Nationals.
So we've got the Tribe, New York, and Houston as division winners. We all agree on that. How about in the AL wild card? Boston, Twins, Angels?
Yeah, I'd say, two of those three. Boy, that's a tough one. You got to go with Boston because of Sale and their pitching, for me at least. And then I'm going to go with the Angels this year. Not just because of Otani coming there, but I think they're kind of developing some young pitchers, and I think they're going to be a wild card team.
Let's close with this. Bill, what Cleveland Indian will have the best year?
Oh, offense, pitching, offense.
Everything combined.
Trevor Bauer.
Trevor Bauer. Mike?
I'm going to go with Kipnis.
Okay, I'm going with Trevor Bauer too. I'm just thinking this guy could win, he could easily win 18 games. I really think so.
Absolutely.
And he's got so much talent. Clevenger, I know you like Clevenger. I think you both like Clevenger.
Yeah.
I like him too, if he can stay away from walking batter. He doesn't give up many hits.
Right.
Kind of the opposite of Tomlin. Tomlin doesn't walk anybody but can give up the hits.
Right.
Where Clevenger, I'd rather, if I'm going to get beat, I want to get beat by a hit, not by a walk.
Right. Exactly.
Do you guys agree with that?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you can't give teams extra
Right.
at bats. They'll make you pay.
Exactly, giving them that fourth out. It's okay if we get the fourth out, but we don't want to get the fourth out.
That's right.
Okay, so, well, let's hope for the best.
Yes.
Hope for a healthy year.
Yes,
Healthy year,
that's the
especially
key.
from Brantley, Kipnis, and now even Zimmer we can put in there.
Yeah,
right
I'd
now.
add Zimmer in
And
there.
then that's the key. Staying healthy.
We got to get Brantley up over 100 games. He's got to play maybe 120 games.
Yeah.
And he's on a 1-year deal, isn't he?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
A surprising
Oh,
one-year deal.
were you happy about that? Giving him that money?
I hate to say it, no, I wasn't.
yeah,
I wasn't either.
No, yeah.
It's not my money.
Yeah. All right, Bill Kehoe, Mike Greco, Star Beacon Sports Editor, Bill Kehoe, second biggest Tribe fan I know after me. On Around the Town with Chuck.